Okay, I gotta break down this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and read into this ritual and symbolism. You know what I mean? Um, this is what I mean when it's like a certain group of people that understand what's going on, and it's a certain people that really don't. So they're gonna speak about how these symbols are basically, like I said, signals to their brotherhood to other people. You know what I mean? It's just like you growing up in the same houses, you know what I'm saying, your brothers or your sisters, and y'all get on the national TV, you know what I mean, and you got your brother watching at home or whatever, and you saying things, or you wearing certain colors, or you wearing symbols on your clothing, or saying certain things that only they will understand. You know what I mean? So everybody else will be thinking a certain way, but you know, your brother, your people, you guys have a code. You guys have a certain symbology that you speak through that nobody else understands, even though we're all watching the same thing. So it says Freemasonry describes itself as a beautiful system of morality veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbols. Allegory. This is like the Bible. Bible is an allegory. This is why a lot of people can't be liberated from these things, because they don't understand the true meaning. You know what I mean? You got to go very deep, man. You got to look at the etymology of these words and everything to get to the root of these matters. The symbolism is mainly, but not exclusively, drawn from the tools of stonemasons: the square and compass, the level and the plumb rule, the trowel, the rough and smooth ashlars, among others. Moral lessons are attributed to each of these tools. Although the assignment is by no means consistent, the meaning of the symbolism is taught and explored through ritual and in lectures and articles by individual masons who offer their personal insights and opinions. All Freemasons begin their journey in the craft by being progressively initiated, passed, and raised into the 3 degrees of craft or Blue Lodge Masonry. During these rituals, the candidate is progressively taught the Masonic symbols and entrusted with grips or tokens, signs, and words to signify to other Masons which degrees he has taken. The dramatic allegorical ceremonies include explanatory lectures and revolve around construction of the Temple of Solomon and the artistry and the depth of the chief architect Hiram Abeth. The degrees are those of entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. While many different versions of these rituals exist, with various lodge layouts and versions of Hiramic legend, each version is recognizable to any Freemason from any jurisdiction. See? While many versions of these rituals exist with various lodge layouts and versions, each version is recognizable to any Freemason from any jurisdiction. So this is how they're able to put this stuff, all these celebrities coming together that's aligned to this brotherhood, and manipulate the public. The public is relying off education, public school education. It could be private school education. It could even be college education, but it's not occult information. It's 2 different worlds. They don't teach us the deeper meaning to the things we learn in school. So it says, in some jurisdictions, the main themes of each degree are illustrated by tracing boards. These painted depictions of Masonic themes are exhibited in the lodge according to which degree is being worked, and are explained to the candidate to illustrate the legend and symbolism of each degree. The idea of Masonic brotherhood probably descends from a 16th century legal definition of a brother as one who has taken an oath of mutual support to another. Accordingly, Masons swear at each degree to keep the contents of that degree secret and to support and protect their brethren unless they have broken the law. In most lodges, the oath or obligation is taken on volume of sacred law, whichever book of divine revelation is appropriate to the religious beliefs of the individual brother, usually the Bible in the Anglo-American tradition. In progressive continental Freemasonry, books other than scripture are permissible, a cause of rupture between lodges. So that right there is just basically showing you how they basically manipulating the public into thinking what they want them to think. You know what I'm saying? Unless you have a deeper understanding of this knowledge. And I know we all remember this, guy. It's the same story with these black killings. It's about fear. Y'all remember who this is, right? Trayvon Martin. You know, some people already know this. You know, the conspiracy theories are already know this. Freemason. Freemason. Like, we can't be getting fooled, man. Gotta wake up. Like, look at this. Grand Master of Florida, of the state that the whole situation happened in. Just like the Stephen Jackson daddy. In the same state. These people have pull in this state. Look at Trayvon Martin daddy. Look at the number that's on his jersey. 9. 9. Like, people just think you crazy. It's symbolism. And it's the infamous picture he got with him. Like, man, it's all a game, man. And with the orange background. Like, come on, man. With the bricks behind them. Them standing in front of a network program that they didn't, a Paramount picture for Trayvon. Death of a child, birth of a movement. See how all this stuff just trickles down in the movies, and they just manipulate the public. Public have no idea that they got ties. Okay, now look at the meter. Look what it say, 108. It's another 9. It's the same thing, man. These numbers are no coincidence. If you don't understand the language, you won't see it. You can't see it. This is representing endings. Just like with the Trayvon Martin. Same 9. Gotta understand this. A lot of people are being manipulated, you know what I mean? Because they're only able to see things from a surface level. You know what I mean? But we gotta understand we're getting into the time where all things are revealed, and we need to do research, you know, so we're not being manipulated. It's a deeper agenda going on, and it's not what people are thinking, you know. So as we can see this picture with George Floyd, right? And even George Floyd, the numerology of his name, like, we have to understand this. Any event that happens, we need to be in a position to be able to decipher the names of these people, you know what I mean? The days. This lets you know that this is a hoax, you know what I mean? Because they're tied through their symbolism, through their brotherhood. And us common people, you know, we're learning different things in school. We're learning a whole different reality from these people that's actually trying to control and shape how things are being shifted. So look at this brick wall behind him. You know what I mean? A lot of people really don't know as far as, you know, the ties with symbolism and the Masons and things like that. But as you can clearly see, the brick wall behind them. They like to use fences, things like that. You know what I mean? It's basically, you know, symbolize, you know, their brotherhood. So I'm gonna just take a look at other other people that's basically tied into this symbolism too, that we probably seen, that we probably weren't really paying attention to. So look at George Floyd. You see he's got the picture with the bricks, right? And they got another picture too. Okay, now here's another picture. You know, I'm showing, these are like main pictures that they were basically showing of George Floyd. So I'm just basically showing how, you know, this symbolism is deep. So this is another picture they got with the bricks. It's no coincidence why they choose certain pictures. Here we go again. More symbolism. You see he's behind these brick walls. You see what I'm saying? It's no coincidence with this. And I'm going to get down into some literature and break down so you guys can see how this stuff ties in. All right? Okay, now this is Stephen Jackson's father. You know what I mean? Now, as you see right here, you see he has on all of the symbolism, apron, gloves. Master Mason. He's at a lodge. Now, this is the basketball players, Steven Jackson Jr.'s father. No coincidences. And then look, number 95. All of these things are no coincidence, okay? I'm going to get into some things and we're going to get to see for ourselves. So we even see right here, 33rd degree Mason, and you can even see with the numbers that the basketball player wears. Steven Jackson, he wears number 6, and it's all in the symbolism. I think he had like 3 or whatever, but it's all in the symbolism. You know, they use 3, 6, 9, 13, 12, you know, master numbers, number 9. Like, so we're going to look at some more, you know, clips or whatnot. Okay, now here we go. We even got some more footage, you know what I mean? Look at this picture right here. It's just basically showing, you know, them putting up symbolism and things like that. Now you can even see George Floyd with the damn Masonic tattoo on his chest. This is all tied in. And then he says, he's my twin. This was a ritual. What month are we in right now? We're in the month of June. What does June symbolize? June symbolizes Gemini, which are twins. You see what I'm saying? That's why I keep saying this is my twin, my twin. This was a ritual. Gemini. Under this Gemini energy. It's no coincidence. As you can see right there. Now this is gematria, what I'm showing right here. This is basically for the occult knowledge of knowing, you know what I mean, the vibration of numbers, knowing the frequency of numbers, you know what I mean? So we see that the word twin breaks down to 42, which is another 6. It's no coincidence. Like I was saying, he has the number 3. These are Masonic numbers. Okay, now we're gonna look at some more coding. Look at this coding. Look, you see he got the Masonic bird on his chest. Order out of chaos. That's what he has on his chest. Order out of chaos. What did this event do? Chaos. What are they trying to do? Control us through this order. You know what I mean? Even with this picture right here, with him that they showing on the news with the corona in the back of. Yellow and red make orange, number 33. It's all symbology, man. The typical person ain't gonna really understand this. It's gonna go right over their head, man. But you gotta understand, man. You know, it just don't make no sense when you really put your mind to this stuff. And then another thing too, this whole thing was a symbolization of the Colin Kaepernick thing and then taking a knee and all of this. But what we really gotta do is use our brains. What cop you know will publicly do something like this? Like this is retarded. This was retarded for people to really fall into this. Why would somebody do this on camera, knowing they're being filmed by multiple people? Why would a cop do this? Why would they do something that they could have easily did behind the scenes? Why would a cop blatantly put himself out there like that to be scrutinized? Unless it was an agenda behind it. And why would the other officers stand there while he's doing it? Like they're in front of a club entrance. You see what I'm saying? So we got to really understand, man, even the coding, the 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That's a 9. 8 plus 4 plus 6 is 9. Well, it's actually, like, you really got to understand how this symbolism works, man. 6 4 is a 1 and the 8. 8 46. 8 9 plus 1. You got to understand numerology. 8 minutes, then you take the 4 and the 6. It's a 10, but it breaks down to a 1. So this is a 9. Okay, now look at this. We see kindred. Kendrick is another person. He's definitely affiliated. You see the brick walls behind him. It was no coincidence of the statement he was making with this video, with this album. Another one, Michael Jackson, in front of the brick wall. Do your research. It's no coincidences why these artists are taking pictures in front of this wall. Here we go again, another brick wall. Snoop Dogg. No coincidences. Look how long you've been in the game. Look at these people that's associated with these brick walls, the legendary status that they have. It's no coincidences. Degrees, 32nd degree, like we've seen on the picture, the 32nd and the 33. 33 degree is an elected degree, which is conferred upon a select few members who have made major contributions to society or to the fraternity. Okay, let's tap in. I'm about to run this down real quick, man. Just speaking on some things as far as how this ties in. Now, this book is called Matrix of Power. You know what I mean? How the world has been controlled by powerful people. Now, it says Freemasonry is a very ancient fraternal order. For thousands of years, it was made up of many different groups which loosely fit into an association of builders, going back to the most ancient times in which men built with bricks, such as the pyramids of Egypt and all the ancient temples. They were brick builders. Even today, we refer to one working with bricks as a brick mason. The trade of a mason, or the conceptual idea of building with bricks, was a building trade. There were men who did nothing but that, and they were referred to as brick masons. They came down through ancient history and began to jealously guard each other's work and not let any newcomers come into the trade. They had unions, so to speak. We do the same thing today. Later on, in 1717, many occult orders and many of the building trade orders of Freemasonry came together in London and began what we call Freemasonry. On the modern day scale, modern day Freemasonry was started in 1717, but the idea goes back to ancient Egypt and other ancient civilizations. If you understand the ancient Masons built their world with brick, then you understand why today's Freemasons say of themselves that they are the modern day builders of the world. They not only build the building that you live in and do business in, they are building the structure of the world as Freemasons. They are building your religions, your political establishments. All you have to do is go to the library and get reference books on flags, national coats of arms, symbols, and emblems of different countries and different international organizations. They are all Freemasonic symbols. All interesting is the fact that a lot of the graffiti that is being seen in large cities throughout this country are Masonic symbols. Only high degree Freemasons would know that. A lot of the black gangs and the Mexican gangs spread graffiti around cities. Much of that graffiti is very powerful Masonic symbolism. This leads me to wonder how these kids know these symbols. I am suggesting that there is some connection between occult Freemasonry and the spread of violence and crime in our country. I think we had better look at some very uncomfortable but very positively important connections that can be made between crime on the streets and the elitist people that run this country who are allowing it to happen. There's a reason. I think that crime in this country is being allowed for a purpose. A lot of people may feel this way, but nobody is saying it publicly. Now we must ask, where is this going? Where are the occult orders that control most of the important political, religious events of this world trying to lead this planet? I think that for hundreds of years, there has been a concerted effort to lead the world into a new world order, a completely new civilization where human beings will no longer be the same type of humans they were in the past. We are being guided into a new age. There's a new world order that is being orchestrated. All the violence and destruction that we are seeing today is destroying the old order in preparation for a new order. You cannot construct a high-rise building where there is an old shack until you tear down the old shack. Today, we are having wars and bloodshed everywhere so that we can destroy the power base of the good old boys in different countries. Then a new world order can be set up. I cannot escape the conclusion that there is someone very, very high up and extremely wise and perceptive as to how to make things to bring about to bring about a certain conclusion. I tend to believe that that being or entity is something spiritual. I believe there is something spiritual happening in our world today, but it also uses men, powerful people, and these powerful men often get greedy and may not follow their higher calling properly. They are only human and power is intoxicating. I am concerned for the future because of the loss of individuality and the loss of the human ability, freedom, and the liberty to think. That is one thing about this country I am thankful for, that we have the opportunity to discuss things intelligently with each other and give each other the opportunity to be heard, because that is how we grow. However, I think that personal evolution is being stifled. More and more, the governmental powers from behind the scenes are quietly making sure that people don't talk too much about things that are controversial. I think that human minds are being remolded and reprogrammed so that people don't really have to think a whole lot anymore. We just go along to get along, and whatever the government says, we do. Whatever the church says, we do. And whatever our assigned authorities say to do, we do. I think that is where the real problem is going to exist. Let's step back a moment and consider the Vatican as it existed in the time of AD 600s. The earth was regarded as being the center of the universe. People were controlled by the church. They lived for the church. The only hope they had was that they go to heaven and not to hell, and everything else was basically business as usual. That worked quite well for hundreds of years, but this system became rather difficult to uphold when people found out that the earth wasn't the center of the universe. Then the church began to lose a lot of credibility and power. Now I think a few people are trying to gain similar power and control over people, but not necessarily through the church. They are trying to regain such power through new secular means, because the people have been infected with this idea of freedom and liberty and individual rights to think for themselves. Consequently, the church is not going to operate well. Says consequently, the church is not going to affected with this idea of freedom and liberty, individual rights to think for themselves. Consequently, the church is not going to operate well. Churches never operate well in an environment where people are allowed to be themselves and do their own thinking and call their own shots in their lives. So now, instead of being afraid of going to hell, people are being conditioned to be afraid of total destruction through world wars or environmental collapse, or some other terrible catastrophe coming, even an alien invasion. There is enough out there that some very brilliant people can come up with something that will scare the life out of all of us. Not to mention that nature itself can be very frightening with such phenomena as volcanoes, earthquakes, etc. And I wonder how much of that is man-made. There is considerable high technology in this world that is operational too. The underlying agenda has been control, and more control through fear. So one of the basic messages I'm trying to get across is to rid yourself of fear. Rid yourself of fear and educate yourself. Become informed as broadly as you possibly can. Go to the library and check out books on the occult history of this world. A word of warning: the word occult has been grossly misrepresented by the media. Most people, when they hear the word occult, think immediately of demons and a boogeyman. This is yet another way we are being manipulated, because we are being told over and over again that there is something mysterious and dark and unnerving and something very fearful about the occult. Everything else is okay, we are told. Religion is fine, but the occult offers something that is very dangerous. Once you understand what is going on, you find out that some very crafty people have not told you what they are doing and how they are doing it, and they are working some real heavy-duty magic upon you. You are nothing more than a sitting duck because you don't understand the process. That's basically what I wanted to show in this video, man. A lot of people don't understand this process. So they're getting manipulated by this whole George Floyd situation. I'm going to do the Rayshard situation too. That's the same thing with all of these things. All of these lawyers that they get for this case, all of these people, you look back, you see they got ties to, acting in movies and on sitcoms and things. So these are not even actually real lawyers. These people are actors. They say it all the time. The world is a stage, but we got to do this research, man. I love my people, man. I love y'all. Stay strong and, become as aware as you can, because that's the only thing that's going to take the fear away. People that's fearful right now are people that's not aware. These are people that's not in tune with the occult knowledge. and we have to be more aware than things that's physical. You know, we have to understand the spiritual world holds up the physical world. We need to understand how things are happening versus trying to just make things happen. And I'm out, man. Can't save everybody. Vibe higher.